y'all, what's going on? I'm here for Empire Season 3, Episode 4. I apologize for this being super late. I just really procrastinated on doing this. Like I told you guys, I got a lot going on right now, and I'm trying to get some, things, in place for, myself and my personal life. So hopefully some of the stress can be taken off of me, and hopefully I'll hear some good news between the end of this month and, early next month. But anyways, we get Lucius and Andre. They're outside of the studio that Vanessa and Shine are in, and they're trying to, seal the deal or whatever on this contract. So they walk in, and immediately Vanessa and Andre, they lock eyes, with one another. And, Lucius, he had to kind of snap Andre out of it, you know what I'm saying? So he can, give Shine the documents or whatever. But little do they know, Shine has a trick up his sleeve, and he's like, I thought about it. Why just, subject myself to one label when there's other labels out there that's, that are giving me options or whatever. And he pulls back the clothes or whatever that's in the way and shows all the other options that he has, other music executives and everything. And pretty much he wants everybody to present to him by Friday. And low-key, they had like some Rick Ross looking dude low-key as one of the other music executives. I caught that. But anyways, Lucius, he's back at the office, reprimanding Becky about, Vanessa and all this other stuff. And Becky said, how am I supposed to finalize something unless you're giving me the A&R authority to do so or whatever? And, Cookie, she comes in and says that, Becky is right or whatever. And Lucius is like, I'm close to firing your ass while you talking about a promotion and all this other stuff. And then that's when Cookie reveals that they hired like a new A&R and everything. Of course, Becky, she's hurt by that. But it's some guy named Xavier or something, and Lucius, I guess he not satisfied with that neither, I guess because he's a white guy or something. But anyway, she assures him that he knows what he's doing and all this other stuff. And he says that money is on the line with this whole beef situation with Hakeem and Graham. And Cookie said, if I could get Tiana to do the song after you done sat up here and used her vocals on the diss track, then you need to back off and let me do, my thing on the business side. And he said, all right, well, if things is not right on my side of the business, this little game you playing is going to be game over. And she like, yeah, they going back and forth and all this other stuff. And he was like, he said something. He was like, oh, I see what this is about. Angelo didn't call you last night or whatever, something like that. And she kind of, felt some type of way. Cookie, she's talking to Portia or whatever about, canceling this, booking her for this and all this other stuff. And then she asks, did Angelo call her? Portia is like, no, he didn't call or whatever. So, next thing you know, these little kids, they start, singing for Cookie or whatever on behalf of Angelo and all this other stuff. And that's when he shows up. And she's like, shocked and everything. And she says to Portia, you lied to me or whatever. And pretty much he wants to take her, somewhere to a concert, but, with one of his favorite musicians or artists or whatever. And, she agrees to it. And Portia says, he's going to take, the place that he's taking her is somewhere out Washington Heights, somewhere where it's Cookie's comfort zone, or at least she thinks anyway. And then Cookie, she has a flashback of her dad. She liked the boyfriend that she had, back then or whatever. And, pretty much her dad put a lot of pressure on her because she was like the one. She was the one who was smart and had potential to be something great and all this other stuff. And he didn't want her to be involved with Lucius and his drug dealing ass or whatever. And so next thing you know, Lucius, he creeps up on her talking about some, what you doing sluggering around here, ear hustling or whatever. And he's like, I do work here. And, he's like, he's worried about her and all this other stuff. And, Angelo doesn't know Cookie like he knows her and all this other stuff. And she says, well, yeah, I know he's a good man. And I know that he's going to lift me up and not, tear me down or whatever, something like that. And, Lucius says, but yeah, he has been dating a string of socialites, and I want to know why he's dating you now or whatever. And he says, he's in the bid to run for mayor and everything, this, that, and the third, and you're a convicted felon. You think he gonna want to have you on his arm and all this other stuff. And, you know, making Cookie feel unsure about herself and everything. So Hakeem is pretty much trying to convince Lucius that he can get Vanessa to sign over at Empire and everything. Lucius, he wants Andre to handle the situation. And, you know, Dre, he suggests that, you know, him and Hakeem could do it together. And I thought that was kind of nice, you know, to include Hakeem on such an important deal. You know, Dre, he gives the new plan or whatever on what they're going to do to get Vanessa over to the label. He asks Hakeem to leave the room for a minute so he can have a conversation with Lucius. And Andre pretty much rats out Jamal about going to see Frida the other day and how it didn't work out, but he's planning on seeing her again. So Lucius, he's digesting this information. You know, he got some tricks up his sleeve. So, you know, he thanks Andre or whatever and says, you know what? Me and you are going to make a powerful team again and all this other stuff. So Jamal, he's at the jail, but he's there with the guy who was the leader of the PTSD meeting that he had went to or whatever. And, you know, the guy is talking him through it or whatever. And, you know, he steps aside, you know, to let Jamal talk to Frida on his own. So, Frida, she comes in all beat up and everything. Like, people was talking about how she looked like Martin that time, where his face was just all, you know, just all fucked up or whatever, and Gina didn't want to kiss him for real. But pretty much Jamal asks, you know, what happened to her. She says that he has some big fans in there, and, you know, he asks, you know, what is your lawyer saying and everything. And Frida was like, you know, that Lucius, that lawyer sent is not, you know, he don't care about me. Like, he just trying to, you know, keep my mouth shut about certain things or whatever, this, that, and the third. And pretty much Jamal wants to help her get out of jail. Moving on from that, we get Hakeem. He's live streaming with Sean and Vanessa about signing a deal. Pretty much he doesn't have a contract, but he puts the amount that they're willing to offer on a piece of on a napkin and everything. And Sean is looking like, oh, this is a real nice offer. And the next thing you know, he shows the napkin to everybody on the live stream, and he said, better not none of these other labels come below 2.5 mil. I said, damn, you ain't have to put him out there like that, Shine. That was fucked up. That was fucked. So Cookie is getting ready for her date with Angelo, and she's trying on different outfits, and she has the AR guy, Xavier, Becky, and I think Portia in there as well. I forgot that damn quick. But anyways, as she's trying on outfits, she's telling Xavier that Tiana has a performance for Empire Extreme, and it has to be fire. It has to be hard, okay? And, you know, he starts saying something about bad bitches. And, you know, Becky, she interjects and she's like, you know, Tiana is an R&B artist, not a hip-hop artist. And, you know, Cookie says that, you know, she's right and tells her to set up a meeting with Tiana, you know, ASAP or whatever. So, when she gets in her car, she ends up wearing not anything that she tried on at her house. She had on like this, you know, tight-fitting red dress that came above, you know, her knees. So, Cookie, she's embarrassed because, you know, Angelo is in the tux or whatever, and he didn't tell her that it was a fundraising event. And, you know, she's trying to flag her driver down so she can change and everything. And he tells her, you know, you look good or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it's an opera. Angelo, he introduces her to two ladies that come off very snobby and stuck up. And, you know, they bring up his ex Sabrina or whatever, how they used to vacation together. Lord, I'm getting tongue-tied. How they used to vacation together. And, they ask her where she spends her summers or something like that. And you know, Angelo tells them that, you know, Cookie spends, you know, most of her summer running her family's multi-million business. And then that's when she says, you know, no, I spend my summers in Connecticut. And she names the jail that she served her time in. I said, girl. And she walks off or whatever. And the show starts and everything. And Cookie, you know, she's immediately intrigued by the opera singer or whatever, and in the middle of it, she gets up all loud and yells, "Tell me something, you better sing that, girl!" I said, I mean, seeing that shit a second time, that shit still cracks me up. That I said, girl, now you This is not the place to do that at. So anyways, you know, Cookie, she's in the bathroom. She's just embarrassed. She's overthinking. And she overhears those two snobby ladies, you know, talking about her, calling her a hood rat, and, you know, calling her a charity case. And she's just a rebound from his ex or whatever. And as they're saying that, she steps out and says, you know, I got a charity for you called Make-A-Wish. You ever heard of that? And she says, you know, because after I get finished whooping both of y'all's asses, you gonna wish you never met a hood rat like me. And then she flames the water from her fingers at them, and they, you know, jump all scared and shit. And she said, I'm just wiping my hands, bitches. And she walks off or whatever, and that's when she sneaks out and leaves the event. But I said, oh, she told y'all, serves y'all right for talking shit about her behind her motherfucking back and not in her face. So Portia got the club mixed up with the club in Atlanta. And, you know, she asks Cookie, is, you know, she gonna hit Angelo back or whatever. Cookie tells Portia to get out her sight because she just through with her at this point. Tiana comes in pissed, with the back and forth, you know, situation between Graham and Hakeem. And, you know, the AR guy, Xavier, he's trying to explain to her how much of a good thing it is by using the Beyonce and Michelle and Kelly comparison or whatever. And Cookie says that, you know, Tiana, your boyfriend promised the fans an explanation and we should give it to them. And Tiana says she don't care about all that. You know, she's not trying to be caught between two men. Or she's not trying to look like she's, you know, being caught between two men. She's, you know, an artist and not a reality star. And Cookie, that's when Cookie, she gets the idea in her head about the opera, because the opera was about the woman being caught between two men. And, you know, she's telling her, like, baby, these, you know, people sing about these situations all the time or whatever. And she asks her, did she hear about the opera or whatever. But anyways, moving on from that. So we get Jamal and Angelo, you know, they're talking about Angelo's flop with Cookie and everything. And Jamal tells him, you know, just, you know, hang in her world versus you trying to force her to hang in yours. And, you know, asks him, you know, he asks him, do you own anything besides a suit or whatever? And he tells him he's going to hook him up with one of his boys that can, you know, get him some clothes outside of wearing suits and everything. So as Angelo is leaving, he brings up Frida or whatever. And, you know, Angelo tells him that, you know, if the judge can declare temporary insanity, then she can, you know, get out and all this other stuff. And asks, does, you know, Jamal have any, asks if Frida has any documents of her having mental illness or something. And, you know, Jamal is like, you know, he doesn't know or whatever. And, you know, that's when Angelo offers him, you know, a good lawyer in town to help him with this situation of getting Frida out. So then Andre and Vanessa, you know, Andre, he meets up with Vanessa to pretty much try to change her mind about the whole Empire situation. It's saying, you know, he starts saying that Empire, you know, not Empire, that Sean is using her for a label deal and all this other stuff. And then that's when he brings up, you know, her brother or whatever, and how he knew him before his passing and all this other stuff. And he talks about all the things he has in common with her. And he says, yeah, except the fact that I didn't go to some college or whatever. And, you know, that's when he says that, you know, her brother left this business for her in Sean's hands. And, you know, is she going to take what's hers and all this other stuff? And she says, are you? And then that's when he says, well, if I was you, Empire, you know, if I had the talent that you had, Empire would have already been mine. So Andre pretty much tells Lucius that they still have to get Sean's signature on the documents for it to be official, you know, with Vanessa being signed to their label. And as he's saying that, Sean, he comes in and, you know, starts beating up Andre or whatever, this, that, and the third. And that's when Andre gets right back up and starts kicking his ass and everything. And that's when Sean was like, y'all take everything from me and all this other stuff. And he pulls out the gun on Andre. And that's when Lucius, he takes a bat and hit him from behind. And he makes Sean sign the documents. And Sean like, no, I'm not signing that. That's when Lucius pulls out a gun and is like, oh, how about now? And so Sean signs the documents, and that was that. And then Andre, you know, I guess he felt the need to kick him one more good time for the last hoorah or whatever, you know. Like, I mean, he's already beat up, you know what I'm saying? He don't need to continue on. But anyways, we're at the bail hearing, and pretty much the lawyer is, using the temporary insanity excuse for Frida or whatever. And then that's when Jamal also speaks on her behalf and everything. And pretty much the judge was touched, and, he gives her bail. So moving on from that, we get to Tiana's live stream. Angelo, he shows up, and Cookie is showing him the performance or whatever. And the singer, she managed to get the singer from the opera to help Tiana, on this song and everything. Like a more updated version or whatever. I thought, that was cool. Seemed like her and Angelo are, they okay again. They vibing. Evil Lou, a.k.a. Lucius Lyon, shows up or whatever. And he sits next to Angelo, pretty much trying to intimidate him, explaining how Cookie got her name and all this other stuff. And they show the flashback of him pretty much beating up her boyfriend at the time or whatever, him and his crew, and pretty much stealing Cookie from him and all this other stuff. And he's saying that him and Cookie always managed to be back together and all this other stuff. And that's when Angela was like, oh, we'll see about that. Like, I'm not scared of you. You know what I'm saying? Moving on from that, Lucius, he gets up to congratulate Jamal on getting Frida out. He was like, sometimes you have to do the wrong thing to get the right results. And he says, she would have been killed. And, Jamal is saying she would have been killed in there if he didn't. And Lucius is like, yeah, I know. That's why I had her beat up. And Frida knew all about it. And, Jamal is shocked, like even with the whole temporary insanity thing, pretty much Frida was playing him the whole time. And I'm like, damn, that's fucked up, because Jamal really cared about her, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, Lucius is proud that Jamal, paid the doctor for the fake reports, for the judge. And, now anything that she says, in court against him in regards to her father won't be credible because of the temporary insanity thing. And he said, he was like, I didn't even have to tell you to do it. It was like second nature. And he pretty much is taunting him, talking about something. How does it feel to be your daddy's child? I said, Lucius ain't shit. This is why I don't like his motherfucking ass. Alright, so this last part, Vanessa, she goes to see Andre or whatever. Sean doesn't know that she's there. She tries to make a move on him, and he, was going through with it at first, and then, he stops her or whatever, and she understands, because his wife just passed and all this other stuff, and then next thing he sees Rhonda's ghost or whatever, and she's telling him, go ahead, you can do it, Mr. Lion, go ahead. And she says, we can do it together and all this other stuff. So that's what kind of pumped him up to go ahead on and start, kissing on Tiana and stuff, taking his shirt off. And as he's doing that, Rhonda's ghost is behind him, kissing his back and all this other stuff. I said, so is he picturing him making love to Rhonda? Or is like him and Vanessa having a threesome with Rhonda's ghost and she doesn't know it? Like, I was confused on that part. I just want to know. Because I was just kind of like, there's some freaky shit going on here. But that was pretty much the episode. Well, Sean, we also see him plotting on Empire at this point now, too, as well. And then, of course, Jamal, he talked to his, the leader from the PTSD thing and about the whole Frida situation. But that pretty much was it. I'm kind of starting to get suspicious of Angelo now, from the previews of the following episodes to come up or whatever. It just something seems suspicious with him now. And if that's the case, I hope that's not the case, because I do want Cookie to find somebody, outside of Lucius, you know what I'm saying? But it always seems like he ends up being right. But anyways, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you guys come back, and I will see you guys in the next video.